Good reference. Arthur had worked in finance for over 2 decades. The metropolitan skyline was his backdrop, and his days were filled with numbers, charts, and coffee breaks. He had seen colleagues come and go, had been part of mergers and takeovers, and had navigated the turbulent waters of economic downturns. But now, at the age of 45, he found himself in uncharted territory. He had been laid off. As Arthur packed his belongings into a cardboard box, his boss, Mr. Hamilton, walked in. "Arthur," he began, his voice soft, "I'm genuinely sorry about this. You've been a tremendous asset to this firm." Arthur simply nodded. Words were hard to find. "If there's anything I can do, just let me know," Mr. Hamilton continued, placing a hand on Arthur's shoulder. Arthur cleared his throat. "Actually, a good reference would be invaluable." Mr. Hamilton smiled. "Consider it done." Over the next few weeks, Arthur began the daunting process of job hunting. He updated his resume, attended networking events, and reached out to old contacts. Everywhere he applied, he included the reference from Mr. Hamilton. One day, Arthur received a call from Morgan & Price, a leading investment firm. They had seen his application and were impressed. The HR manager, Ms. Watkins, specifically mentioned the glowing reference from Mr. Hamilton. Arthur was invited for an interview. Upon arriving at Morgan & Price, Arthur was ushered into a spacious office with floor-to-ceiling windows. Ms. Watkins, a sharp-looking woman with a keen eye, was already waiting. The interview was thorough. They discussed Arthur's past experiences, his skills, and his aspirations. But what surprised Arthur was how much weight they gave to Mr. Hamilton's reference. "You know, Mr. Hamilton rarely gives references," Ms. Watkins remarked. "For him to vouch for someone speaks volumes." The next day, Arthur received a call from Morgan & Price. They were offering him a senior position, with a substantial pay increase. Elated, he accepted without hesitation. As he settled into his new role, Arthur realized the value of his long career and the relationships he had built. He had always been dedicated and loyal, but it was the trust and respect he had earned from influential people like Mr. Hamilton that had truly made the difference. Years later, when mentoring young professionals, Arthur always emphasized the importance of hard work, not just for the immediate benefits, but for the long-lasting impressions they leave behind. "Always give your best," he'd say, "because you never know who's watching, and what your good reputation might bring you in the future." In life's unpredictable twists and turns, it was a good reference that had opened the door to Arthur's second act. Do not touch. It wasn't so much a museum as it was a peculiar collection of artifacts owned by the eccentric billionaire, Edgar Finley. Nestled on the outskirts of New York, Finley's Marvels was a go-to place for those seeking something beyond the ordinary. Visitors could gaze upon an original manuscript penned by Shakespeare, a gemstone from Mars, or even the alleged fountain pen that signed the Declaration of Independence. But the most talked about exhibit was an obsidian box, placed at the center of the main hall, with a plaque reading, "Do not touch." Naturally, this only piqued visitors' curiosity. Why was this simple-looking box so off-limits? Rumors ran wild. Some said it contained the world's deadliest virus. Others believed it was Pandora's box, while a few claimed it held the secret to Finley's wealth. Lila, an investigative journalist, decided to delve into the mystery. Using her press connections, she managed to secure an interview with Edgar Finley himself. On the day of the meeting, she found Finley to be a man of small stature but with a commanding presence. They talked about his collection, and finally, she broached the subject. "What's inside the box?" she asked, her voice filled with anticipation. Finley looked at her with a smile. "Why does it interest you so?" Lila replied, "People are curious. They always want to know the secrets that are kept from them. It's human nature." Finley leaned back, taking a moment before responding. "That box is my commentary on human behavior. People see a sign saying do not touch and it burns them up inside. They want to break the rule, not because they care about the box, but because they're told they can't." Lila looked puzzled. "So, there's nothing inside?" Finley chuckled. "Oh, there's something inside. But its value isn't materialistic. The true value lies in the lesson it teaches. That sometimes, curiosity isn't about the thing itself, but about the thrill of the unknown. The box serves as a mirror, reflecting our own tendencies and desires." Intrigued, Lila wrote her piece, making Finley's obsidian box even more famous. People came from all around just to gaze at the box they couldn't touch. Years later, after Finley's passing, his will ordered the box be opened in a grand event. Millions tuned in on TV and online. When the lid was finally lifted, inside was a note. It read, "Congratulations on your patience. The true treasure was the journey of curiosity, not the destination. Remember, not everything that glitters is gold." The world was left in awe. Finley had orchestrated the greatest lesson in curiosity, proving that sometimes it's not about what's inside, but the stories and emotions that an object can invoke. An amazing martial art. In the picturesque town of Huashan, located in the mountainous terrains of China, there was a buzz of excitement. Huashan wasn't just known for its breathtaking views but also for being the home of a unique martial art, Yingjiaquan, which means hero's fist. What distinguished Yingjiaquan from other martial arts was not just its intricate moves but its core philosophy. Unlike others, which emphasized victory in combat, Yingjiaquan stressed on understanding one's opponent and seeking nonviolent resolutions to conflicts. It was often said, "A true Yingjia master is one who can win a fight without throwing a punch." Amy, a young American documentarian, had heard tales of this incredible martial art and decided to capture its essence on film. As she ventured into Huashan, she was struck by the sheer beauty of the place. Mountains touched the sky, waterfalls cascaded gracefully, and amidst this lay the legendary Huashan Training Temple. At the temple, she met Master Li, an old, wiry man with twinkling eyes. He agreed to let her film the practices, but on one condition: she had to train with them every morning. As days turned into weeks, Amy not only captured the physical elegance of Ng Jie Quan but also imbibed its teachings. She saw students resolving disputes through dialogue, learned about the deep meditative practices that preceded every fight, and witnessed the intense respect fighters had for each other. One day, as she was filming, a commotion erupted. A group of young men, practitioners of a more aggressive martial art, challenged the students of the temple. They mocked the Ng Jie philosophy and sought to prove its inferiority through combat. Master Li calmly approached them. "We do not wish to fight, but we won't shy away if it's forced upon us," he said with a gentle firmness. A large circle was formed. The most boastful among the challengers stepped forward and was met by a young disciple of Master Li. The fight began, but something incredible happened. Every aggressive move made by the challenger was gracefully deflected by the disciple. There were no counterattacks, just fluid movements that redirected the energy away. Minutes felt like hours, but eventually, the aggressive challenger, tired and frustrated, gave up, realizing he couldn't land a single blow. Master Li then addressed the gathered crowd: "Violence begets violence. But understanding and redirecting aggression can lead to peace. That's the essence of Ng Jie Quan." The challengers, humbled, apologized and were invited to join the temple for a meal. That evening, former adversaries sat side by side, sharing stories and food. Amy's documentary, The Hero's Fist, Martial Art of Peace, became a sensation. It unveiled to the world not just a martial art but a way of life that spoke of peace, understanding, and the true meaning of strength. Under the Oak Tree. The sprawling town of Greenshire had many attractions, but the most mystical was the grand oak tree situated at its center. Locals called it the Whispering Oak because it was believed that if one listened closely, the rustling leaves would whisper the town's secrets. Ella, a journalist from the city, came to Greenshire to cover a different story but found herself enchanted by the tales of the Whispering Oak. The more she heard, the more she wanted to unravel the truth behind this mysterious tree. One evening, under the glimmer of the stars, Ella decided to visit the oak tree. With a flashlight in hand and a notebook in the other, she sat under its vast canopy. As time ticked by, the wind began to rustle the leaves, creating a soft melodic sound. Ella closed her eyes and listened intently. To her astonishment, she began to perceive soft murmurs. It wasn't just the wind, there were distinct whispers. The voices spoke of love tales, age-old disputes, secrets buried deep, and of dreams that children once shared with the tree. Ella scribbled down everything she heard, mesmerized. The most poignant tale was that of Lily and Samuel, two lovers from opposing families in Greenshire. Their love story was reminiscent of the classic Romeo and Juliet. They would secretly meet under the oak tree, sharing dreams of a future together. But fate wasn't kind, and their love story ended in tragedy, with both dying young under mysterious circumstances. When dawn approached, the whispers faded. Ella, her notebook filled with tales, decided to explore the story of Lily and Samuel further. After weeks of research, speaking to the oldest residents, and diving into town records, Ella found something astonishing. There was a forgotten tombstone behind the town's ancient church, marking the resting place of Lily and Samuel. The inscriptions spoke of their undying love. Ella's article on the Whispering Oak and the tragic tale of Lily and Samuel became a sensation. People from all around came to visit the tree, leaving letters of their unresolved tales and secrets, hoping that the tree would whisper their stories too. The town of Greenshire transformed. The tree, once a mere landmark, became a symbol of love, hope, and the magic of untold stories. And Ella, the journalist, found a new home and purpose in Greenshire, dedicating herself to uncovering and sharing its many whispered tales.